Hey guys, it's Bear. It is Friday, May 29th, 2015, and this is my personal channel video for this week. This video is one of those instances where I didn't do my usual thing where I write down a lot of notes and kind of format, do an outline for my video about what I want to talk about, mostly because this is just coming straight from the heart. This is an experience that I had, a couple of weeks ago, and it's, I've given myself time to get over sort of the raw emotional reaction to it and calm down before I do the video. But it's something that I've really been wanting to address. Like I said, I don't have my thoughts really planned out for it, and I'm also still slightly agitated. So, the last time I was really irritated about something, it took me like 16 takes to get the video, and I'm hoping not to do that this time. I'm hoping to just talk to you about this, and I think it's something that just needs to be get it off my chest, and also share it, because not everybody's going through what's going on in my life. Not everybody's in my brain, and so I think it's important to share some of these things. So I want to talk to you about dysphoria a little bit, and there's a couple of different ways to talk about dysphoria. One is talking about sort of the feelings of hang on, let me back up. Let me define dysphoria for you, because not everybody knows this word. It's the opposite of euphoria. So dysphoria is a profound state of unease or generalized dissatisfaction with life. May accompany depression, anxiety, or agitation. In cases of gender dysphoria, it can also mean someone is not comfortable in their body. Common reactions are indifference or emotional distress. So dysphoria, you often hear us as trans people saying, like, my dysphoria, blah, blah, blah. Well, we're basically saying gender dysphoria, and that's actually a diagnosis. That's what'll be on your letters and stuff like that, saying that you can get on hormones and whatnot. So, I want to address something that's been triggering my dysphoria, and that can be physical, but it can also be emotional. So I'm not going to talk about the physical stuff. That's something to talk about later, because you have that. This is more of the emotional dysphoria, and what I want to talk to you about is if and when a trans person's dysphoria gets triggered. So let's back up again. Dysphoria, being this intense emotional state, is akin, again, like I read to you just now, it's very similar to depression, anxiety, and I would actually liken it very, very much to post-traumatic stress disorder, in that it is a strong emotional state that can be triggered by an occurrence, a memory, and so forth. And when you get triggered, it puts you in a weird state of mind. So, in the cases of post-traumatic stress, you had a traumatic event happen to you. That can be, an act of violence. It can be, an accident that happened to you. It can be a bad memory, and you will have emotions that are attached to that event get triggered by something that was going on at that time. In the case of, veterans, people that have served, and been in combat, that can be something that sounds like gunfire, and that's what most people think of when they think of PTSD. But it can also be something like, if somebody had an accident, and that's something I deal with as a massage therapist, is people have had accidents and they have an injury now, and they can actually get triggered emotionally by things that were happening when they had that accident, So like a song that was playing on the radio, for instance, can actually trigger somebody's post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm talking to you about that because, like I said, I feel like these two things are sort of brothers. They're emotional states that can be triggered by common occurrences, and that's what happened to me really recently. Is I'm not going to tell you exactly what, but somebody said something to me recently, which was just meant to be, a mundane statement, and it's something that really bothers me. It's something that's bothered me for a long time, because in my experience, it was always said to me by a man talking to me specifically as a woman. And so it just really freaks me out. It really, really upsets me. It used to upset me when men would say this to me, and I would turn around and I would respond to them. And it upsets me now because, like I said, it's something that I associate with my former gender, and so it just gets me so aggravated that I can't even think straight. It immediately makes me feel like that woman that I used to be, and how men in our society just think that they can talk down to women and tell them something about their body or something about the look on their face or something about, just a comment on your body. It's really degrading. So it used to really piss me off as a woman, and now, as I'm trying to transition and live as a man and be acknowledged and respected as a man, it pisses me off even worse, and furthermore, not only does it make me really mad, but it triggers my dysphoria, and it makes me feel like a woman, and it just puts me in a really anxious, upset state of mind. And so I wanted to let you know, first and foremost, as either another trans person or a trans ally or whoever, because this can apply to other things, that if somebody turns around and tells you, that really triggers my dysphoria, or it really upsets me, or it really bothers me, take the time to listen and understand why. Because what happened to me was that I turned around and I gave somebody that feedback, and they argued with me, and basically said, I'm not saying it to you as a woman, I respect you as a man, and get over it, get used to it. And basically what you're doing when you say that to somebody that's in this anxious state of mind is you're asking them to use logic in an illogical moment, in an emotional, this is a raw emotional state, when you're having an anxiety attack, you can't really reason with it. It's something that's really difficult to explain to somebody that's not experiencing it. So, same thing for dysphoria. So, this message, in short, or in, I don't know, the end, is to people out there, not just dealing with trans people, not just trans allies, but just the human race, the human experience. If somebody tells you that something bothers them, freaks them out, makes them anxious, hurts their feelings, triggers something, God, if somebody uses the word trigger, take the time to let them explain to you why. Don't try to tell them to get over it. Please don't try to tell them that, you're not saying it because of that. Like in my case, well, I'm not saying it to you as a woman. It doesn't matter. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like a woman. And I react to it, really strongly. So, I guess in short what I'm trying to say is, just try to take the time to understand where somebody's coming from and adjust your behavior, because saying the words, I support you 100%, but does not mean you support me 100%. It means that you support me up into the point where you have to adjust your own behavior, And I'm not saying that that's not a selfish thing. I'm being incredibly selfish in this moment by saying, you know, that something hurts my feelings and that I'm asking you to understand it and to adjust your behavior. You know, and I was, you know, I was told by somebody else that I was kind of complaining about this too. They said, you know, you can't expect everybody to adjust their behavior based on your reaction to it. And that's 100% true. That's 100% right. I do respect it. But what I can expect is for people to hear me out. You know, if I say calmly, you know, listen, what you said to me really bothered me, and here's why. You know, I do expect you to at least give me the chance to explain it to you so that you have the opportunity to decide whether or not to adjust the behavior. You know, and in this case I wasn't given that, and that's made me even more sort of upset. So, yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts. I'm going to review the video and decide whether or not to put it up. And I hope that all made sense, and I thank you for listening. As far as any kind of life updates, I am really excited because, you know, my top surgery is around the corner in June. So, you know, I'm getting ready for that, and I'll probably talk about that a little bit next week. But I wanted to get this out there. I wanted to get this said and out into the world. And so thank you very much for taking the time to listen, and I will see you next week.